It looks like...
Stop licking the floor.
Somehow that's going to be the first thing people hear when they start this stream up. Welcome! Welcome to Movie Discussions. I am here...
Resident Evil edition.
Yes. Resident Evil.
Shut up, Jason.
And, now I know we have already covered this subject before, us doing our own idea of what a Resident Evil movie...
Yeah, like 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah. Wasn't it shortly after Welcome to Raccoon City came out, or was it, like, sometime later?
Let me look at the date of the last one we did real quick, and I'll get back to you on that. Oh, by the way, I just saw the thumbnail. Nice shit. That's actually that's a good thumbnail.
Yeah, I was trying to go for Spencer Mansion look, but hey, random gamer, welcome to the stream. I hope everything's going okay for you in Oklahoma, because I hear the planes are getting hammered.
What's going on, RG?
I mean, granted, Cape Girardeau, we had a pretty nasty thunderstorm the other couple days ago, but I mean,
the first one we did was March of 2022, so like 4 months after Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City came out.
Yeah.
So close to 4 years.
Yeah, so I had initially had another game in mind for my next playthrough. This is going to tie into that. But with Requiem coming out, with RE9 being out, and no, I have not had a chance to play it, but I have seen a couple playthroughs. Clear from any planes falling out of the sky. Well, thank God for that.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing, real quick. When we first did almost 4 years ago, it was actually a discussion on whether or not the Paul W.S. Anderson films could be salvaged and unfucked. Spoiler alert: they cannot.
Yeah, and
this is purely a discussion on what we would do for Resident Evil movies.
Yeah. Now I have a couple of things that I need, a couple of rants that I need to go off on before we start. Number one, I constantly see people saying, well, how hard can it possibly be to just do a movie about 5 people trapped in a mansion, blah, 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 blah. Tell me you've never actually tried writing a fucking script off of Resident Evil without actually fucking telling me? Because it's on the surface, yeah, it sounds that simple, but then you try to write it and you realize, oh shit, I actually have 2 main characters that I need to divide focus from, and I have like 2 other supporting characters and an antagonist that I have all these characters that I need to flesh out, and I have to decide what all needs to stay and what all needs to go, and I have to maintain the basic tone and feel of what makes Resident Evil Resident Evil. Not that fucking simple!
Same with adapting literally any other video game on the planet.
Yeah, and that's the tricky part is trying to figure out a way that how do you maintain that tone, that feel of what should be of what makes the game, and how do you translate that into cinematic form? And especially, you're taking something that is an interactive medium and translating it into a passive medium. Video games are an interactive medium. Film is a passive medium. With the game, you control the pacing. You're interacting with the story. The story unfolds at whatever speed you're playing it at. With a film, you're pretty much just sitting there while you let the runtime play out. So when adapting anything, you have to look at what makes that thing tick, what makes it work. And that's like, Max Payne should be a hybrid of film noir and John Woo melodrama, complemented with great action scenes, with hyperkinetic action scenes. That's what a Max Payne movie should be. Hitman should be a slow burn international espionage thriller. It should not be a fucking Luc Besson transporter style action movie. Even though I do have a soft spot for the Tim Oliphant movie from '07. You know,
Wait. Are we talking about Hitman?
yeah.
Yeah, tell them about the Jovovich shit.
The what? Oh,
The Mila Jovovich shit.
Oh, yeah, which... I mean, if you're a Hitman fan and you kind of want to get payback on Mila Jovovich, there's an extra mission in Hitman 3 where she's the target, and she's the CEO of a shady pharmaceutical company, and she's trying to unleash a deadly virus on the world, so...
And you can... and we might not been able to prevent the disaster that was the Paul W.S. Anderson films, but we can prevent that.
So yeah, just
Hitman 3 is on PS Plus, and I literally downloaded that mission, played it, and then deleted it because I felt satisfied. I mean, don't be wrong. I don't hate Mila Jovovich, but that's the closest thing to revenge about taking someone's life I could think of.
I mean, fair enough. But
now, if I run into Paul W.S. Anderson in a bar, well, if my beer bottle is empty, maybe I'll slip and it'll fly out of my hand, hit his head. Who knows?
Anyways.
But yeah, the Timothy Oliphant movie, the movie from '07, it doesn't deserve the hate it gets, if you ask me.
Yeah, it was fine. It at least tried to be a Hitman movie. The 2015 movie, on the other hand, that is a transporter movie with a Hitman skin. And Rupert Friend's version of 47 was just, how can I be Temu Jason Statham?
Oh my god, it's literally the best description I've ever fucking heard.
It literally is Temu Statham. If you, by the way, if you've ever wondered what a Jason Statham Hitman movie looks like, watch the Mechanic remake.
I mean, I like the Mechanic remake.
I have a soft spot for it, but I have a soft spot for the original with Bronson too.
I mean, Bronson in anything is good.
Yeah. Now, I know there are people in the Resident Evil fandom who love to romanticize the idea of a George A. Romero directed Resident Evil film, and it's kind of one of those people love to ponder over the whole what could have been. Here's the thing. I have read the Romero script that's been floating around the internet for years, and on paper, I kind of get why people would like to romanticize the idea of a George Romero Resident Evil movie. The guy wrote the book on modern zombie films. Without Resident Evil, without his influence, Resident Evil would not be the video game it is today, most likely. It would probably be an entirely different beast. I mean, considering the original concept for the game was it was supposed to be like a first-person journey through a house of supernatural horrors before they turned it into let's borrow everything about Alone in the Dark's aesthetic, but we'll make the controls substantially less clunky, and we'll set it in a house full of zombies.
I mean, if you ask me, I know people say Resident Evil is the godfather of survival horror, but that title really belongs to Alone in the Dark. I'm sorry.
Alone in the Dark, without Alone in the Dark, we would not have Resident Evil, we would not have Silent Hill, we would not have all these other survival horror games that took elements from it and refined them.
Yet it seems like the franchise is so goddamn obscure.
It is, and it's a real shame because it's one that I personally love to death. And
hot take, the movie with David Harbour is really not as bad as people say it is.
I think you mean the remake?
Yeah, that's...
They didn't make a movie.
What did I say?
I think you said the movie.
Yeah, I meant the reboot, remake, whatever.
The reboot, yeah. The movie was with Christian Slater, and that was a fucking shit show.
Hey, I liked it.
It's a guilty pleasure for me. Is it objectively bad? Yes. Is it fun to watch just because of how batshit insane it is at times? Also, yes. But that's how I feel about Uwe Boll's House of the Dead movie too.
You're talking about the one from 2003?
Yes.
Oh yeah, that fucking mess.
But here's my take on it.
The sequel to that starred Daniel Southworth, aka Virgil from Devil May Cry.
I was not aware he was Virgil.
Yeah, Daniel Southworth was also Eric the Quantum Ranger in Power Rangers Time Force. Along with Erin Cahill, who plays Rebecca in the animated movies.
I shouldn't even be surprised that you know that.
Yeah, Erin Cahill, or however it's pronounced, she voiced Rebecca in the recent animated films, and she's also Jen, the Pink Time Force Ranger.
So
holy shit, that season came out 25 years ago.
So apparently Capcom just attracts Power Rangers actors.
I mean, Jason Font, the Time Force Red Ranger, did the motion capture for Leon in Resident Evil 6.
But, anyways. So it's like, on paper, I get why people are in love with the idea of a George Romero Resident Evil movie. I mean, the godfather of the modern zombie film, adapting a video game that openly and shamelessly borrows cues from his influence, sounds like a no-brainer on paper. But, and this is a big but, this is a chunk from Requiem-sized but.
Wait. Wasn't the George Romero film scrapped because it was too much like the game, and Capcom said they didn't want people to just, watch a movie. They didn't want people to look at it and think, why watch it when they can play the game?
Well, here's what happened. Number one, it was the late 90s. Video game movies were still finding their footing, and movie studios were very much not attuned to... They just wanted a bunch of new action movies to put out. And Resident Evil, unfortunately, became a victim of that late 90s, early 2000s mid-budget action push. Number one. Number two, George Romero's script clearly had a lot of gore in it. No fucking shit. And this was when studios were extremely apprehensive about the idea of putting out mid-budget R-rated films, because they were under the assumption that PG-13 was the way to go, even though the Spawn movie was PG-13, and that opened against an R-rated action movie, Air Force One, and guess which one had the bigger weekend? Spoiler alert, it wasn't the fucking PG-13 rated comic book movie that was based off an R-rated fucking comic book, you fucking cunt nuggets.
I'm sorry. Near the end there, my brain shit itself. Which movie was the better one?
The Air Force One was the bigger movie.
Okay. I just want to make sure I got the name right before I said it. Yeah, Air Force One was better.
Now, I have a soft spot for the Spawn movie, but that's because John Leguizamo as the Violator fucking owns every frame of it.
I mean, it's how the fuck do you pronounce his name again?
John Leguizamo.
Leguizamo. I mean, it's John Leguizamo. I mean, a lot of shit he's in is good. I mean, he was in Land of the Dead.
He's generally good in whatever he's in. It's a shame he can't shut his fucking mouth about half the country.
I mean, true.
It's like you're not that famous, John.
He was the one thing I liked in Land of the Dead. and his portrayal of Luigi.
Yeah, I still have a soft spot for the Mario movie, so those were the two biggest factors. Now, barring that, it's only when you pull back and you actually look at George Romero objectively as a writer-director, that you see that his aesthetic would not, and Resident Evil's aesthetic, are so drastically diametrically opposed to one another. Because here's the thing. Your view of Resident Evil, my view of Resident Evil, here's my view of the franchise. It's pulpy B-grade horror. You know, it's not trying to say anything. It's not trying to have some kind of social commentary message. It's just these are games where you're dropped into an isolated location, and you're being told, okay, you've got a fuck ton of monsters to not get killed by. You've got a bunch of puzzles to solve. Your ammunition supply is extremely minimal. Good luck, folks. You know,
I just randomly thought that I feel like they would have cast John Leguizamo as Brad.
I'd buy it. I could see that. Late 90s, right. John Leguizamo as Brad Vickers. I could see that.
Until they tell me he has to get Facebooked by a tentacle.
But here's the thing. Resident Evil, in my view, I don't know about anybody else here, Resident Evil, in my view, is a pulp series. And George Romero was not a pulp writer-director. He was a social satirist who used cinema as his platform. And his characters... He often prioritized his themes and his messaging above his story and characters. And so his characters, and more specifically the zombies, were vessels for whatever social commentary he was trying to push for each movie. In Night of the Living Dead, for example, the zombies are an allegory for social upheaval, for civil unrest. You know, the new generation tearing down and replacing the old generation. That's what the zombies were supposed to be, was the new generation. In Dawn of the Dead, the zombies are an allegory for mass consumerism, which is why the movie takes place in a shopping mall. In Day of the Dead, the zombies are an allegory for military authoritarianism, which is why they make such a big deal out of the soldiers, and eventually, like the last 30 minutes, the zombies completely taking over the base and tearing people apart. In Land of the Dead, they were an allegory for wealth inequality, the haves and have-nots. You know, and what was that?
I said, the hell now?
Yeah, that's what they were supposed to be. And in Diary of the Dead, they were an allegory for media desensitization. I think that's why Romero went with a found footage gimmick for that specific movie.
And it was also a shitty reboot. I hate to say it, but it was a shitty reboot.
It was not a good movie. I mean, I'm not a fan of found footage movies anyway, but even if I was, that would not have been... I would not consider that a good use of the gimmick at all.
I mean, I have kind of a soft spot for it, because, you know, it's part of the Dead series, but for the most part, yeah, no.
I get that. But had Romero been allowed to do his Resident Evil movie, he absolutely would have turned Umbrella and the T-Virus into some kind of allegory for corporate corruption, and that's not what Resident Evil is. Yeah, the Umbrella Corporation is cartoonishly evil. That's just window dressing.
I mean, yeah.
Capcom wasn't trying to say anything by making them cartoonishly evil. They just are. And it's part of the aesthetic of you know, this is the kind of bioweapon, these are the kind of bioweapons that could only be engineered by absolute mad scientists. I mean, James Marcus and William Birkin might as well be Dr. Frankenstein. Or you know?
I mean, fucking literally.
They might as well have Dr. Frankenstein making all their BOWs. So...
if it was set in the 40s, they'd probably do that.
Most definitely. But Romero would have turned Resident Evil into a social commentary, and that's not Resident Evil. It probably would have been a good George A. Romero film. I don't believe it would have been a good Resident Evil film, and I really wish Resident Evil fans were capable of making that distinction, but most of y'all fucking aren't for some reason.
I mean, at the very least, at least his version probably would have included hunters.
I think his script did have hunters in it. It had hunters, and it had an encounter with Plant 42.
I mean, at least there's that, but everything else, yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with you, dude.
It would have been a good Romero film. It just would not have been a good Resident Evil movie. Resident Evil has always been a lot of things, even back in the early days. One thing it never has been, one thing it has never needed, and one thing that it still does not need is ham-fisted social commentary. Granted, it also doesn't need bullet time, wire fu, and a nu metal score that would have been less out of place in Devil May Cry. Unfortunately, that movie exists and spawned a franchise of movies that become increasingly more unwatchable the more you... when you watch them all back to back to back, and you realize that that Anderson was just making it all up as he went along.
I mean, I always say, imagine what would have happened if Anderson made a Devil May Cry movie, but he would have gender swapped Dante with his wife.
Either that, or he would have had Mila play Patricia, or is it it's Trish?
Yeah, I was about to say, who the fuck is Patricia?
That's the full version of Trish. So he probably.
Well, actually, yeah, it makes sense. I mean, I think your mom used to go by the name on Facebook years ago.
So yeah, he most likely would have. It probably would have been closer to Devil May Cry than whatever the fuck Adi Shankar shat out on Twitter with his fucking I'm a teenage emo edgelord in my 40s fucking shtick.
Yeah, didn't Dante not have Ebony and Ivory in the first season anyway?
I don't fucking know. I didn't watch it because I couldn't bring myself to, because I can't fucking stand Adi Shankar is like Uwe Boll without the self-awareness.
Because I think I saw a clip for season 2 where apparently Dante gets Ebony and Ivory for the first time, and it's like, well, where the fuck were they when? Okay, Ebony and Ivory it's like trying to do Godzilla without his atomic breath. It just doesn't work. You got to have him have his pistols.
Well, apparently, I guess in the first season he's using two Beretta M9s, and those are supposed to stand in for his. But then, I mean, that's far from that show. From what I've seen of that show's biggest problems. I mean, this is the same series that replaces natural humor with MCU humor because we still haven't figured out that everybody is sick and tired of that. Not to mention the excessive. Look, I realize I'm the last person who needs to be harping about excessive profanity. But this is just how I talk. If you can't put profanity, if you're going to have a lot of profanity and you make it sound unnatural, you come off as a tryhard. Which, that's what...
Yeah.
I just saw Maggie Gyllenhaal's movie, The Bride, that she directed last night. That's how the dialogue was in the movie. They used a lot of profanity where it was like, it really doesn't need to be there, and there's no reason for it to be there other than you think it's still the mid-90s and you're edgy for doing that.
I mean, yeah, you never told me how it was.
Not good. The only good thing about it is, okay, the whole movie feels like it was made in a fever dream, and the only good thing about it is Christian Bale playing Frankenstein's monster. That's it.
Isn't Christian Bale like the rich guy who drives a cheap car?
Yeah. Yeah, he drives a 2003 Toyota Tacoma.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with that if you ask me.
Patrick Bateman drives a 2003 truck in 2026.
And it's like Adam Sandler. He's fucking rich, but he lives like he's poor, and there's nothing wrong with that.
He just dresses like a normal dad.
And he's one of the last celebrities on Earth I'd rather fucking hang out with.
But Anderson's movies really, it's one of the only franchises I can think of that actually punishes you for remembering things from that were established in previous movies, because when you sit down and you actually watch them all back to back to back to back to back 1 through 6, you realize that the whole series is just, even though he didn't direct the second and third films, he did direct the first one, he directed 4, 5, and 6. You realize the entire series is just a repository for every, hey, wouldn't it be cool if idea that he ripped out of his sphincter on a whim. Hey, wouldn't it be cool if we had a kung fu fight against zombies in a graveyard? Hey, wouldn't it be cool if we had our main character dual-wielding MP5Ks and shooting at Nemesis and then baseball sliding underneath a rocket, an RPG missile? Wouldn't it be cool if we had our main character fist-fighting the Nemesis? Wouldn't it be cool if we had a guy on a bus, standing on top of a bus, firing a flamethrower at a flock of zombie crows? Stupid shit like that. And it's like, well, that's cool and all, but what does that do for the narrative? What does that have to do with it doesn't. It's just something cool that you came up with and you wanted to put into the movie. Okay, fine, whatever. Fuck you very much.
It doesn't do shit for the movie.
Not only does it not do shit for the movie, but then you look at the way the movie consistently drops characters between. You look at the way the series drops characters between movies because it's convenient for the plot. Just randomly dropping Angie Ashford and Jill Valentine between Apocalypse and Extinction. Just randomly dropping Chris and Claire Redfield between Afterlife and Retribution, and apparently just completely forgetting Chris even fucking exists when you have Alice reuniting with Claire in Final Chapter. Completely forgetting Leon and Ada and Jill between Retribution and Final Chapter. Forgetting entire plot points or not spelling them out adequately enough. Like in Apocalypse, how there's you're told that Dr. Ashford is the guy who created the T-virus, but then you find out in Final Chapter it was actually Dr. Isaacs' partner James Marcus who created the T-virus, and then he wouldn't play with Isaacs' plans for world domination, and so Isaacs had him killed by Wesker. Okay. But and if apparently when they did that, when Isaacs had Wesker kill Marcus, he then took the T-virus and gave it to Ashford to further refine, which is not present in the fucking movie, or if it was, it's not written out well enough. It's like it's like if you're the whole purpose of a multi-film story arc. The whole purpose of a story arc that takes place across multiple movies is to have some semblance of continuity. If you don't care enough as a writer to check your own script and rewatch your own movies to make sure that you do not have plot points that directly contradict what is happening, that directly contradict shit you established in previous movies, then why should I, as the audience, give an ounce of a fiddler's fuck what happens to your fucking characters or what happens in your fucking narrative, Paul?
I interject something.
Yes, please. I need a sip of my Mountain Dew.
Let's also not forget bringing back that fucking spider control device bullshit, Resident Evil Retribution.
Oh, again, because it was a thing that was in the games that Anderson was cool and he wanted to use in the movie. It's like wouldn't be...
And somehow the Plaga has become an advanced form of the T-virus. Yeah, that's totally how it fucking went.
Yeah, or how in the third movie it's like the whole world is a desert, and then in 4 and 5 it's like, I guess it's not.
Don't worry, I share Chris's rage, but the difference is I had a cigarette before this talk. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, Random Gamer says, One of my biggest issues with those movies is that it had a global zombie takeover. Didn't like that. I like the games where it's more of an isolated incident. I mean, that's how it's supposed to be. Whether it's
fucking man, dude.
Whether it's the Spencer estate, whether it's Raccoon City itself, or it's Rockford Island and the Ashford homestead, the Ashford house up there. It's that fucking Tim Burton looking ass freak show.
Disney's the Haunted Mansion looking ass.
Fucking right. I mean, and then you go inside and it's a goddamn Hitchcock movie going on in there because Alfred Ashford has fucking Norman Bates syndrome.
Damn.
Tell me I'm wrong.
I didn't say you were wrong.
I mean, him dressing up exactly like his sister is some Norman Bates shit.
I mean, I thought him speaking like his sister would be Norman Bates shit, but yeah.
I mean, that too. That and trying to kill Claire and Steve while he's posing as Alexia.
Yeah, and full disclosure, while we're having this discussion, I'm working on speedrunning RE9, and his rants fueled me through a zombie takedown, a bunch of them.
Fuck yeah! I'll take it.
I'm working on getting the batteries as Leon.
Oh, I haven't played RE9, but I have watched MK Ice and Fire's playthrough of it. All the way from start to finish, so that's a fun time.
And apparently I can stomp on zombies.
I love how in the second half of the game it gets exceptionally fan-service-y.
Actually, I didn't stomp on a zombie's head, I actually stomped on a fucking... I guess I actually stomped on a fucking crate, but I thought it was a zombie's head that I didn't kill.
But, like, and it doesn't help. It doesn't help that the script that Anderson used for the first movie wasn't even a Resident Evil script at all. It was... He had written an entirely original script. It was... I think it was called Undead. But by his own admission, it borrowed elements from the early Resident Evil games. And so he basically did a quick rewrite, jimmy-rigged a bunch of references to Umbrella... And the T-Virus and you know, probably shoved in the liquor encounter there as well. And he basically jimmy-rigged his own script into a Resident Evil movie. So it didn't start as it doesn't feel like a Resident Evil movie because it didn't start as a Resident Evil movie. And this is something
I am not surprised.
And this is coming from somebody whose favorite Die Hard movie is Die Hard with a Vengeance, which began as a script for a completely different sequel. I think the script that they used it for was originally supposed to be a script for Lethal Weapon 4. But it's still...
Did you hear me say I'm not surprised in the slightest?
Yeah, I heard you.
Okay,
but,
I was making sure my mic didn't fucking fuck up.
No, you're fine. You're good. I could hear you. I know it doesn't seem like it because I'm exceptionally ranty today. I've got a 6 foot. I mean, I've got a 6 foot long.
I don't blame you.
I've got a 6 foot long rant boner with a giant cheeseburger on the end of it.
Okay then. Yeah, I totally didn't need to eat. Thanks.
I said that specifically to hear your reaction to it.
Yeah, well, fuck you.
Ugh, it ain't that long.
I have to throw this calzone away now.
Ugh.
Meanwhile, the zombie's nomming on my shoulder. At least someone's fucking eating.
Die Hard with a Vengeance gets a bit of hate. It's still really? People hate that? I would think people hated Die Hard 2 more than they hate Die Hard with a Vengeance. I mean, Die Hard 2 is one of the weaker ones in the series. It's not the weakest one. That dubious honor goes to Good Day to Die And, like, say what you want about Welcome to Raccoon City, as flawed as that movie is, and yes, I acknowledge it is an extraordinarily flawed movie.
It's not the best. It's not the best movie in general, but it is a good Resident Evil movie.
Yeah, it's not like I can forgive the spotty visual effects. I can forgive the I can forgive the spotty Die Hard in Russia is the most hated one. It definitely is, and for good reason, because it's not even a Die Hard movie. It's a Jai Courtney action movie that they Jimmy rigged Bruce Willis into.
I mean, I felt Welcome to Raccoon City felt a little more independent than the freaking big studio budget ones of the with Paul Wetshart Anderson saga.
I mean, Welcome to Raccoon City, for all of its flaws, yes, the pacing is extraordinarily rushed. Yes, the
A little.
I said extraordinarily.
Oh, okay, I thought I heard you say a little.
Yeah, for the size and scope of the story Roberts was trying to tell, the pacing is extraordinarily rushed. The visual effects are spottier than Ray Charles' liver.
Oh. God damn.
I had to do it at least once.
I'm pretty sure he's laughing his ass off up there.
The visual effects are really spotty. There are certain writing decisions with the characters that I personally would not have gone with. And for example, the most contentious one, the way Leon is portrayed in the movie. Now, when I first watched it, I was under the impression that, okay, he's written like that because, okay, he's supposed to be a bit of a goof, and then he's supposed to grow into the character that we see in RE4 and 6 and Requiem, and apparently he's written to be the bumbling sidekick, because Johannes Roberts wanted to have his own version of Jack Burton from Big Trouble in Little China, but he didn't. But at no point did he ever stop to consider why that portrayal worked for Jack Burton and why it would not work for a character like Leon. Right? Because Jack
I was hoping for a sequel based on Code Veronica or Resident Evil 4, but people bitched about it too much and got their way.
Well, it also didn't help that it was released around this. Number one, the marketing team really left it high and dry. Number two, it was announced at roughly the same time as there was announced a live-action Netflix series, and so a lot of people were not even aware that Welcome to Raccoon City was a theatrically released movie and was not the Netflix series that was in production. You know, the one that was so ass it literally killed Lance Reddick.
I'm pretty sure Lance Reddick is laughing at that too.
I never made it past the second episode just because I was just like, this is not going to get any better, and I am not going to waste my time as a great actor.
That's the difference between you and I finished it, and it's like, fuck all of you.
And in the Immortal World, as a great actor once said, "I fed up with this world."
What?
I said, as a great actor once said, "I fed up with this world."
Yeah, he saw it and he's like, well, I'm done.
No thanks. I don't want to live on this planet anymore.
No thanks, bro.
Yes, exactly. Like, but...
By the way, speaking of no thanks, bro, in Resident Evil 4 Remake, when Leon shot Salazar 3 times before the boss fight, the 3 bullets were no thanks and bro.
Nice.
And it's also the achievement I think it's the achievement for when you kill him, too.
It is.
I meant to sharpen the hatchet. And I used one of my heals.
Nice. But...
And I killed the chainsaw zombie in the gas station with minimal effort.
But,
like, before Leon could finish his one-liner, I blew its fucking head off. Anyways, go ahead.
Yeah, but for all of its flaws, I at least give Johannes Roberts credit for making for starting with a script for a Resident Evil movie. He made that film specifically to make a movie that looks, sounds, and feels like Resident Evil. And for all its flaws, for its laundry list of objective faults, it at least tries, which is more than I can say for the Anderson films. It actually is actually trying to be a Resident Evil movie, and I can appreciate that much. Everything else, I can forgive because his intent matters to me just as much.
I mean, I think the main reason people complained about this movie was because two of the characters didn't look like their video game counterparts, and it's like, fuck you, you fucking herder woke, and it's like I'm pretty sure Johannes Roberts literally casted actors who he thought could embody the spirit of Leon and Jill.
Well,
he wasn't being woke.
Well, in that case, no, he wasn't, but Sony was, because they wanted a diversity quota. They wanted him to fulfill a diversity quota with that, which is why Hannah John Kamen is Jill and why Avon Jogia is Leon. It's not Johannes Roberts. Johannes Roberts is not the one who instituted the diversity quota. Sony is.
I recommend you watch what you say next, because you're making me want to destroy my PS5.
Well, like I said, I put that squarely on Sony's shoulders and not Johannes Roberts's. But
yeah, same.
But that doesn't bother me. Like I said, he actually tried to make a Resident Evil film from start to finish. Whether he succeeded is completely up to everyone's individual interpretation. I mean,
Hannah John Kamen, however the fuck it's pronounced, she was a good Jill.
I think he did what he set out to do. Now, I know we have the Zach Krieger adaptation coming up. I still need to see Barbarian and Weapons.
I think Weapons is on Max and Barbarian is on either Disney Plus or Hulu.
It is. I don't have HBO Max because I refuse to give David Zaslav any money, but assuming the Paramount Warner Brothers merger goes down, supposedly they're looking at fusing Paramount Plus and HBO Max together. So Weapons might be on Paramount, or Paramount might be changing its name to something else.
I mean, I'm not going to complain.
Or I might finally just have to sack up and buy the Blu-ray because I haven't bothered to at all yet.
And hopefully if they merge, because apparently HBO Max is cracking down on password sharing like Netflix, and it's like, y'all didn't learn from Netflix backlash?
Well, unfortunately, Netflix is still the biggest streaming platform on the planet right now.
Yeah, well, fuck Netflix.
Yeah, Ted Sarandos can gargle my balls.
He can suck my ass for a coffee stirrer.
Honestly,
brought back a Chris Bates classic.
And
you used to say that a lot. 5 years ago, you were saying that a lot, bro.
I know. And I know we've had the CGI movies that basically are basically additions to the canon. Like, okay, here's a thing that Leon is doing here. Here's a thing that Leon and Claire are up to. Here's Leon and Ada doing this thing. They're basically the Leon movies, because Capcom, for whatever reason, it's like Marvel with Punisher. For whatever reason, Capcom just cannot stop slobbing Leon's knob. It's like, can we please have one CGI movie that focuses on anybody else but Leon? And I like Leon. I started this franchise with the N64 port of RE2. So yeah, I do like Leon. Where's my man Barry at?
I don't care if he's 60. He can still kick some ass.
Yeah. Barry. Where's Barry? I'm literally sounding like the PS1 version of Chris right now. Of Chris Redfield.
Sorry. Well, sorry, but he's probably... Yeah. What was that? I'll go and check.
I love the way that I will never get over how earnest and cheesy as hell the voice acting is in the PS1 games. Stop it! Don't open that door!
Opens it as soon as he's gone and gets jump scared by a weird looking PS1 rotten dog.
Yeah. My favorite Weskerism from that game is when Chris starts laughing in the Tyrant and Wesker's just like, Chris, stop it.
Wesker, you're pitiful.
He just sounds so hurt. Like Chris laughing actually legitimately hurt his feelings. Stop it. He sounds like when you're jabbing your finger in your little brother's face and you're just going, I'm not touching you, I'm not touching you, I'm not touching you.
Oh, thank God I'm not dead. I just got blown up by a fucking BSAA zombie.
Oh.
And my health was 2 seconds away from being gone for good. And it's like, fuck you.
It's like,
Fuck
I
you.
know we've had the CGI movies, and those are basically expansions on the game canon, but at the same time, they're
essential.
They're action movies. They are action movies with a horror slant. They are... I would hardly want to call them horror movies. I mean, they are Resident Evil movies, but they're not good horror. And I feel like by going too far in the action direction, they kind of lose what makes Resident Evil.
Pretty much.
I mean, are they entertaining to watch? Absolutely. Is it fun to watch Leon and Chris go all John Wick on a crowded hallway full of zombies? 110%. Is it fun to watch? Is it fun to watch the Raccoon City survivors basically assemble like the Avengers to take on one ginormous BOW in Death Island? Absolutely.
Absolute. You gotta say it like John Panette. Absolutely.
Or, let me dig up this golden oldie.
Of course!
Of course!
I gotta rewatch that movie.
That will never, ever fucking get old.
I've gotta rewatch that, but I actually recently rewatched the anime movie of Street Fighter 2 like a week ago. I was not aware that Bryan Cranston is in the English dub for it.
Yeah, you told me that the other day.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know, the anime Street Fighter 2, the animated movie, it's an anime film from 1994, and on the DVD there's like a Japanese dub, there's a UK English dub, there's a US English dub, and on the US English dub, Bryan Cranston, Hal from Malcolm in the Middle, and Walter White from Breaking Bad is the English dub voice for Fei Long. I'm not joking. I am not fucking joking. This is a thing.
Yeah.
Bryan Cranston is Fei Long. Bo Billingsley, who plays who plays Jet on Cowboy Bebop, is DJ. And
wait, what the hell did I just say?
I have no idea. I was too busy blathering.
I'll just watch. I'll find out watching the VOD later.
and Steve Blum, aka Spike from Cowboy Bebop, is T-Hawk.
Damn.
So you've got two Cowboy Bebop actors and Walter White in Street Fighter 2. By the
He
way,
wants to take the phone and give you $20.
by the way, if anybody, if you guys have seen the Street Fighter 2 anime, what is your favorite fight scene, and why is it the Chun-Li Vega fight?
I mean, I still need to watch it, but okay.
The Chun-Li Vega fight's the best one in the whole movie.
I'm pretty sure isn't Chun-Li the chick in blue with the white boots?
Yes.
I was about to say in the 90s movie, in the live action movie, I'm pretty sure she was played by the chick who voiced Mulan.
You may be right. I haven't bothered to...
Mei Wen, or whatever the heck her name is.
I don't know who's playing her in the new one. I know in the 2009 Legend of Chun-Li movie, it was Lana from Smallville, for whatever reason. And, in that one, Bison was played by Neil McDonough, who for some reason, Bison was Irish.
Yeah, he was totally Irish in the games.
Not semi-plausible Boondock Saints Irish either. It was more like Hornswoggle, Leprechaun 2, They're After Me, Lucky Charms Irish.
You know, Hornswoggle did play Leprechaun in the fucking shitty-ass reboot.
Like, the only casting in that movie that even remotely worked was Michael Clarke Duncan playing Balrog.
Yeah.
Which, in the new one, apparently he's going to be played by 50 Cent. So, we have that to look forward to.
Well, are we talking about the live-action one coming out this year?
Yes.
Yes. Speaking of actors from that shit, you know who Gary Chalk is?
No.
Gary Chalk, he was the police captain trying to cover things up in Freddy vs. Jason.
It's been a long time.
Well, apparently he's been the voice of Optimus Prime in some projects. He just defeated cancer.
Oh, badass. Now how does this connect to Street Fighter?
Well, I was talking about. You said Hornswoggle. Well, you said Hornswoggle, and I said Hornswoggle played Leprechaun in the 2014 shitty-ass Leprechaun reboot. And I was just saying, and I just never got around to mentioning that Gary Chalk was in that one.
So this doesn't connect to Street Fighter, this is just a random thought that you had.
That and an example of my brain shitting itself.
Oh, where is that clip? I'm trying to remember where I have this where in the folder I have this meme, and I just found it.
You want to know what? Fun fact, I've never been this autistic.
That will never get old. Congratulations. That was one of the stupidest things that I've ever seen.
Oh wait, let me actually find that one.
I was about to say, don't you dare play it, but okay.
Oh, I'm absolutely. Here it comes.
Congratulations, that was one of the stupidest things that I've ever seen anybody post on the internet before. Congratulations, the bar is high cause people post lots and lots of stupid things, but your stupid thing was somehow the leader of the pack.
You can't see it, but I'm doing it as hard as I can. Isn't that from Aqua Teen Hunger Force or whatever?
It is. I hope he can see this because I'm doing it as hard as I can.
Based.
So now we come to the general thesis of this stream. How would you adapt Resident Evil? I have a few ideas of my own. At least 2 of them are completely original ideas. One of them would involve adapting the games. Kason, I want you to go first.
I initially got the idea that we could talk about, because we never really talked about how we would adapt 7 and 8 into films and who we would cast as Ethan, Mia, or whatever. But my basic idea would be, like, if they don't want me to cover the actual games, I would do similar to what Zach Kreger is doing with his.
A completely original story that just could theoretically be taking place in the game's canon.
Basically.
Which was Anderson's original idea, but then that got thrown by the wayside. Again, because he was just making it up as he fucking went along.
Yeah, because wasn't the original idea for the first Resident Evil movie supposed to be like a prequel?
Yes, it was supposed to be a prequel that tells you how the T-Virus got loose in the mansion, which doesn't track at all.
I mean, Resident Evil 0 came out that same year, so...
Yeah, and it had already been announced. It was already... Because it was originally supposed to be an N64 exclusive before it got shifted over to the GameCube. He had to have known that ahead of time, So, in the immortal words of Stephen Ogg, bullshit!
It's like how they tried to say it was their plan to have Palpatine related to Rey from the beginning, but early scrap scripts indicate that it was actually going to be... originally, she was supposed to be Obi-Wan Kenobi's granddaughter.
Yeah, well, in that case, they literally went in with no game plan other than, fuck it, just make a bunch of Star Wars movies and it'll sell itself. And it's like, now you've made the entire world completely apathetic to the Star Wars brand. Good job, Disney. You all you wanted was more. You just tried to shit out more content for Disney Plus, and your producers were so preoccupied with whether or not they could, they didn't stop to think if they should. Well, first you tried to MCUify it by making fuck tons of spin-off movies, where you tried to have a new Star Wars movie out every year, but then that cratered because Solo bombed harder than Hiroshima.
Oh.
And then because everybody was hell bent on trying to outspend Netflix, you blew all this money on a streaming platform that still is not profitable, that has just been hemorrhaging revenue since it started. You guys are just going through money like a hemophiliac with a box of Band-Aids.
God damn.
So,
holy I mean, my expectations were for dark shit, but holy fuck.
It's like you guys very clearly went in with no game plan. Like Anderson with his Resident Evil sequels, you had no game plan, you were just fucking winging it and hoping for the best. The difference is, unfortunately, only one of those actually made money. And it's like, yeah, the sequel trilogy made money, but each entry each sequential entry made less money than its predecessor. So I would hardly call that a win situation. So anyway,
I was just gonna say, you need to get a clip of Obi-Wan from episode 2 saying, "Good job."
At some point, I should just clip one of my rant segments and just work in the one from episode 3. So uncivilized. Oh. Now, as far as an original concept would go, do you have any personal ideas of what you would do for a Resident Evil movie?
It might be somewhere along the lines of 7.
So something not quite the same field as 7, but adjacent.
Basically, like it would have zombies, but it wouldn't be like about. It wouldn't be. Basically, it'd be similar to an idea for a horror game I had years ago. It was called Bloodhouse, and basically it would be about me looking for my girlfriend in the woods and coming across a big ass house trying to find her. And it's basically like the Spencer Mansion from Resident Evil. Basically, like instead of like a paramilitary, be like more grounded and actual like unexperienced humans trying to survive.
That's not a bad idea.
Oh yeah, since me and Lily reconnected 5 years ago. I mean, I actually have had ideas for like a quadrilogy of games, and the first one was going to be based off Resident Evil 7, where I go to find her at an environment similar to the Baker household. And it would have, the second one would have been based off Resident Evil 2, where we go back home, things settle down, but then a fucking outbreak happens and we have to escape.
Mm.
And then the third one would be along the lines of Village, where we move far away out of the country and we have a daughter. But somewhere along the way, one of us gets infected and our daughter gets special powers.
Hmm.
And I recently got the idea for a game that takes place many years later, where our daughter is an adult, and in Leon's place would be me trying to come find her. And at this point, I'd be in my late 40s, like early to mid 40s.
Mm.
I literally had ChatGPT basically visualize what I would look like as Leon in Resident Evil Requiem.
Oh, nice.
I'll send it to you after the stream's over.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, and like I said, the first one would have been called simply Bloodhouse. The second one would have been titled Bloodhouse Outbreak. Third one, second one would have been named Blood City. Third one would have been named Blood Village. Fourth one, where it takes place when my daughter is an adult, and I'm in my late 40s, early mid 40s, it'd be called Bloodhouse Resurrection.
Huh.
I know, not exactly a good title, but I just came up with the idea for a fourth one.
I
Because
mean,
originally the third one was going to end with me sacrificing so Lily and the daughter could get away, if that makes sense.
Village style.
Except, more dramatic.
Right? Wait, more dramatic than...
But then the fourth one would have had a retcon. It would have had a retcon where actually I survived, but the reason I always jacket because I survived the explosion, but my arms are covered in severe burns that I have to wear a jacket and gloves 24/7. Speaking of jackets, ever notice how Leon's jacket in Requiem, the sleeves look like the sleeves of Mr. X?
I'm wondering where he gets the money for all his drip. Because that's like a $2,000-$3,000 double-breasted pea coat.
I mean, he works for the government.
Not to mention the Adidas T-Rex shoes he's got on. That Hamilton watch, his fucking Porsche.
Let's face it, he's most definitely married to Claire, and Chris Redfield is finally not threatening him with action.
Yeah. I mean, he's married to Claire because he's got the angel wing from her Made in Heaven jacket embroidered, number one, on his watch, and number two, on the grip for his Requiem revolver.
They better reveal that in the DLC.
I mean, personally, I couldn't care less what these characters do in their personal lives. I just want to watch them. I just want to watch them survive another shitstorm.
Plus, I'm pretty sure at this point in the timeline, I think it's too late for Claire to get pregnant.
I mean, she was only 2-3 years younger than Leon. If he's 49 in this new game, she would be 47. She would be 46 or 47.
Yeah, that's normal. Isn't that normally when menopause hits?
I want to say it's like in your 50s.
Okay, so maybe they can't have a child.
But I'm not. But I wouldn't know. So now, like I said, I have a few ideas of my own. So here's one idea I had for doing Resident Evil as a movie, and it would be a precursor to the other. It would be a precursor to the games that focuses on the foundation of Umbrella. It focuses on on that alliance of Oswald Spencer, James Marcus, and
what are you fucking with?
He's not talking to me, folks.
Yeah, tuck those ears back. You're in trouble.
It would focus on the foundation of Umbrella under Ashford, Spencer, and Marcus. It would have Spencer expanding Umbrella's reach and influence as Marcus
Would it include Marcus' assassination?
We'll get to that. It would include.
Okay.
It would portray Marcus as a very driven, very obsessed, almost Dr. Frankenstein type of character, where his obsession with the progenitor virus eventually begins to consume him, even as the Umbrella training facility is opened and the facility under the mansion in the Arklay Mountains. Introducing Birkin and Wesker as Umbrella Academy students.
I just had a good idea for how you could end it.
Okay, I know how I want to end it, but I want to hear your version first.
I mean, it's probably way ahead in mind anyway. The movie could end with it going into Wesker calling the meeting and saying they had to go to the mansion in the woods.
Okay, here's mine. I mean, you're close, but here's my version. It would end with Marcus being assassinated by Wesker and Birkin under Spencer's orders, and the last shot of the movie would be on Marcus's body in the waste disposal area as you watch one of his leeches slowly creep towards his mouth.
Isn't that the basis? Isn't that really the basis for the start of the timeline anyway?
It is. Because that would lead directly into the events of Resident Evil 0.
Yeah, people say it's the mansion incident, but it's really the shit with Marcus.
People who say it's the mansion incident have never played 0. Or they're just blatantly disregarding it. Even though it is,
you're not going out right now.
Even though it is essential to the game's canon. At least the bits about James Marcus being the father of the progenitor virus, because his research was what Birkin piggybacked off of in creating the T virus.
Knock it off.
Without Marcus's research, Birkin wouldn't have had a basis to start with. So
yeah, for the Golgotha virus.
Yeah, he was and Marcus was a means to an end. Without him, Spencer wouldn't have been able to have the pull with the virus that he inevitably did. Because without him, he was a means to an end, and once Spencer realized that he couldn't control him anymore, and once Spencer realized that he had outlived his purpose, Wesker and Birkin, the only two people at that facility that Marcus even trusted.
assassinate him.
Yeah. Now, that's one idea that I had. Another idea would be, and I'm kind of developing this into its own original trilogy that I'm calling Containment Breach. And the first story would center on a group of journalism students that go to this isolated Midwestern city to cover a story about missing hikers in the nearby forest, and then as the story progresses, the city comes under an intense outbreak, and the whole thing is them struggling to get out, and eventually discovering that it was this major corporate pharmaceutical corporation that had a hold on the city, and the outbreak was caused by a viral leak, a containment breach, if you will, which is where the title comes from. And it would end with the city being wiped off the map, just like Raccoon City was, with a thermobaric missile. It was not a nuclear missile. Let's make that very clear. That's why there's no fear of radiation around the Raccoon City area. It's because it was not a nuclear missile that destroyed it.
And I mean, let's also not forget about how in the timeline in 4D Executor, they just left Raccoon City abandoned.
Yeah. And so that would be movie one.
Anyways.
Movie two I'm working under I kind of have the working title Containment Protocol, and it would focus on the corporation attempting to cover up the leak, cover up the outbreak and the destruction of the city. And one of the main researchers who had been on the virus, who thought he had been who had been misled into thinking he was designing a new energy booster, ends up coming down with a case of conscience and starts leaking information to a third party. And once the company starts realizing they have a leak, they start trying to move the virus to another location. Well, what he does instead is he seals off the facility and detonates these failsafe charges on the virus, so that everybody inside the building becomes infected, but the virus can't get out into the open. So it's like he's going to go down and he's going to take the company with him.
I guess that's somewhat of a heroic sacrifice.
And then the third movie would be Containment Failure, which is where you follow a corporate a corporate cleanup crew that is sent into the facility to make sure the virus is out, to contain the virus and to prevent any infected from getting out. And you later find out that there's somebody who is embedded in the cleanup crew who is actually the brother of the now dead researcher who works for the government, and he's deep undercover inside this corporate cleanup crew. And so like Containment Breach would be, if Containment Breach is on par with like the classic Resident Evil games, where it's more about managing resources, and it's more about the slow build and the slow building dread. Containment Failure would be more of the modern Resident Evil, where it's a little more like RE4 Remake or RE9, where it's more, it's still horror based, but there's still definitely a lot more action to it than previous entries.
Yeah.
So something like that. Now, those are two of the ideas that I had. The third one is to just adapt Resident Evil 0 and start the film series from there. Start from because I mean that's the beginning of the game chronologically. That's if you're going to play the games from a chronological order, that's where you're going to start, is Resident Evil 0. And it would be like Act 1 is the train, where you go through the Stars Bravo helicopter gets sabotaged and they have to crash land, and Rebecca gets on the train, and there's that uneasy alliance that her and Billy Cohen have to form, and then it would end with the train being derailed. And Act 2 would be the Umbrella training facility, and Billy and Rebecca trying to find their way out of it, and discovering that some of Umbrella's dirty secrets, and it would end with them being completely separated. And then Act 3 Sorry.
I still stand by my theory that Billy is Nemesis.
I mean, I know that's a popular fan theory. I don't know if I would want to extrapolate on it, because the problem with doing that is that you eventually have to start catering to every fan theory on the planet, and that's basically impossible. I mean, The Rise of Skywalker is that in a nutshell. That whole movie felt like it was being written by every single Reddit theorist. So, but then Act 3 doing RE0 as a movie would end with Billy and Rebecca reuniting, and then eventually discovering the truth about James Marcus, about Umbrella. And throughout the movie, we would cut back to these two shadowy figures who are watching the chaos unfold on the train in the research center. But you never quite get us. But if you're a normie, if you haven't played the games, you're not quite sure where they fit in the grand scheme of things. But you would find out in later movies. If you've played the games, you already know it's Wesker and Birkin.
Yeah, that doesn't exactly work.
And then the last shot of them, and then there would be that big confrontation, and Billy shoots the mutated Marcus, and they get out, they escape from the facility, and they go their separate ways. And the last shot of the movie would be on the Spencer Mansion, and that would lead directly into the second movie, which would be adapting the Spencer Mansion incident, where you have an even split between it's like 70 to 75% of the movie is spent on Chris and Jill and what they're doing, but then there are periodic cuts to Barry, and you get a feeling that he's being manipulated by a third party against his will. You would cut to Brad Vickers in the helicopter circling the estate, wrestling with his own cowardice. Like, he wants to land, he wants to go in there and help everyone, but he's too much of a chicken heart to do it.
I was gonna say chicken shit, but that works too.
Well, I mean, I was using his nickname for that point. Until the very final showdown with the Tyrant, when Brad finally grows enough of a sack to throw down the rocket launcher for Chris to pick it up and destroy the Tyrant. And then you jump to adapting Resident Evil 2 for the third movie, and that would be adapting the Claire A. Leon B. scenario from the original version of RE2, where it's a much stronger narrative, where you've got that focus on Claire and Leon, but the main objective is, number one, to get out of the city, and number two, also protect Sherry Birkin and get that G-Virus embryo out of her. And Mr. X can be like an Act 2, can be like Leon's Act 2 boss battle, and then the big final, and then from there you do the big final showdown with Birkin, where he's just this relentless force that cannot be stopped until the train blows up in the tunnel.
Can we talk about how Birkin in Welcome to Raccoon City was wearing a fucking Tall Oak shirt?
Dude, I love that so much. That's one of those. I mean, that's one of those Easter eggs that I just love looking for when I watch that movie. I also love how it was CGI'd out in all the trailers. When you look at in all the trailers for it, you look at Neil McDonough's shirt. It's just a plain white shirt, and then in the movie, it's fucking Tall Oaks. It's little touches like that I just adore.
Yeah, Tall Oaks was like the third Raccoon City. Because there was Sheena Island and Survivor.
Right. Yeah, I was about to ask if you were counting Sheena Island in this. I mean, RE0 counts Sheena Island.
Yeah, it's like one of those like, so how about we go back to the beginning and it plays the Out Here in the Fields song.
Yeah. Oh yeah, just like
imagine if it fucking did.
Yeah, like it's like it's the opening credits for like it's the credit sequence for CSI Miami. I can't do that guy's scream. And then from there you adapt. And then from
you
there,
were almost a Jill Sandwich. Yeah.
Oh god, that is a perfect cutaway meme.
Okay, I'm at the orphanage and I'm 2 hours and 15 minutes in.
Ooh.
While the flashback.
Okay. Dude.
Get this. The girl you're playing as is named Chloe. Like, I think it's a clone named Chloe, and it's like, say that 5 times fast.
Dude, that segment is so bizarre.
And it's like, I'm sorry, but if I was in the shoes of one of the adults there, I'd be knocking those little shits' heads together. I'm just saying. I literally just be like, imagine fighting a bunch of children in like freaking whatever the fuck they're wearing.
In those little nightgowns, their heads shaved. Yeah. They all got glowing red eyes. They won't stop giggling.
Yeah, and it's like, I'm sorry, like, have you not thought to like drop kick them?
Well, it doesn't help that they have regenerative powers.
I don't care. Fuck you. I'm still gonna go out actually putting up a goddamn fight.
I love how they had to just crowbar in another stealth segment, because the one with Sherry in the RE2 remake went over so well with players. And it's absolutely not one of those segments where if we had the option to completely skip it, we absolutely would, Capcom.
The fact it's not being clear where the fuck I gotta go is... Oh, okay, I'm gonna restart this segment because I lost a lot of time trying to remember where the fuck I gotta go.
It's one of those segments where it's like... It's just one of those roller coaster segments.
Will you lay down?
It's one of those roller coaster segments that just breaks the tension. Because you're not scared, you're just irritated the whole time you're playing it.
It's like the Grey Children in Silent Hill 1, and it's like, just drop kick them. God damn. If I was in Harry Mason's shoes, I'd be fucking Leroy Jenkins on those little... Leroy Jenkins!
Dude.
That makes you think, is this where the fucking Wesker children come from?
I guess so.
And it's like, not to mention they freaking retcon Spencer. And it's like, he had a human side before he died. Stop chewing on the fucking windowsill. It's like they tried to give him a fucking human side before he died. Like, Alyssa talked to Spencer? Well, no wonder she did.
Oh.
Also, I'm still surprised that the giant fucking mutated hag wasn't a mutant.
Probably for the best. But anyway.
Anyways.
So yeah, that's kind of... And something that I've noticed about where the Resident Evil movies really falter, whether it's the Anderson movies, whether it's Welcome to Raccoon City, this is one of my bigger grievances with a movie that I otherwise do enjoy. They're way too fast paced. Like the Anderson movies, I get why they're fast paced because they're basically action movies with a horror slant. But with Welcome to Raccoon City, it's like you're trying to build this sense of dread. You're trying to follow this John Carpenter style of building dread before the shit hits the fan. And you've got a story of such massive scope with enough characters to where it actually hurts the movie to go in that fast-paced direction. You need that slow build. You need that slow burn of building tension, building suspense, building dread. It's not... Resident Evil is not an action game unless you're RE6 or any of the Chronicles games.
Beef.
Honestly,
get up there and lay down.
Honestly, or Survivor, but that's another story. Since Survivor is basically an action game with a Resident Evil skin attached to it. It's a light gun shooter.
Yeah, not here in America, it ain't.
But Resident Evil if you're going to adapt Resident Evil, it needs to be that slow-paced build-up. It needs... You can't do it in, like... And especially when you get to, like, when you get to adapting 1 and 2, where you're trying to keep up with... You've got Jill and Barry, you've got Chris and Rebecca, you've got... I already mentioned the addition of scenes with Brad, and... You know, you're occasionally might be cutting to Wesker to see what he's up to, and getting the sense that something may be off about him. You need that like 90 to 100 minutes is not enough time to explore all that and to really build on that atmosphere. You need like 120 to 130 minutes for it. You need that 2 hour 10-minute runtime to really get that Resident Evil feel. But studios won't do that because normies are already accustomed to Resident Evil movies being fast-paced action movies, number one. Number two, I mean, look what happened with Return to Silent Hill. Christoph Gans clearly had more meat to his story, but his distributors forced an under 2 hour runtime onto him, which is why instead of a slow building psychological descent into madness, you end up with a haunted roller coaster. You end up with this cinematic roller coaster ride that rushes you from one haunted house segment to the next. I didn't mind Return to Silent Hill, but that is what the version that got played in theaters is. And I'm hoping there's an extended cut on the Blu-ray because I want to see the version we were supposed to get.
Yeah.
Like, am I crazy here? I feel like Resident Evil should not be. I feel like a fast-paced Resident Evil movie. Like, I get why the CGI movies are fast-paced, because again, like I've said before, those movies are action movies. But to really do that, if you really want to make Resident Evil a Resident Evil movie that is Resident Evil, you need that slow build. You need to go slow burn with it.
I mean, you know the part in Degeneration where the guy named Greg has the zombie go through the window, and it literally shows a first-person view of the zombie snapping at his face.
Yeah.
I still have to cover my eyes at that part, so it's somewhat work.
I mean, those movies, like I said, those movies are action movies with horror elements. I wouldn't consider them...
I'm just saying that specific part still creeps me out, just the zombie snapping at the camera.
I'm desensitized to it completely.
Well, 18 years later, I'm not.
I guess you and I are of a different breed then.
Well, you don't give a shit, but some things still make me jump.
Yeah, well, like I said, I feel like Resident Evil... Now, you have seen Barbarian and Weapons. Would you label those movies as slow burns?
Depends on your definition of slow burn, but yeah.
Okay, so there are movies that don't rush themselves. They're movies that take their time to really let the horror build.
Yeah.
Okay, so the horror is not it's not paced like a 90s slasher. It's more like a classic John Carpenter movie.
Yeah.
Okay, so if that's the case, if that's who we've got in charge of the next Resident Evil movie, we may be good.
Like I said, I like Barbarian and Weapons, so...
Okay, but you have seen those, and I have not. So...
Yeah, you need to get your ass on that.
I probably will at some point between now and when the next movie drops. But, so yeah, that's kind of more or less what I would do. I would either do a movie that explores the origin of Umbrella, or I would just start at zero, and from there, just go through doing what I can to adapt the games into proper movie adaptations. Not just redoing the game in movie form, but doing enough to where fans can appreciate it and normies can appreciate it.
Although there's still going to be that one that bitches about it.
Oh, of course, because they want the movie equivalent of watching a walkthrough on YouTube, and it's like, you could just save your money if that's all you wanted.
Right.
But, some people just complain for the sake of complaining because they get something out of it.
Yeah, well, fuck those kinds of people.
And I would definitely try to lean hard on the practical effects. I would keep the more advanced BOWs in the shadows or silhouette form. I would use animatronics and dummies and actors in suits instead of just using CGI because it just looks better. It legitimately just looks better if it's done practically. And Zach Krieger is a stickler for practical effects. I did read about that, so hopefully the next movie will have a lot less visual effects reliant than the last few ones have.
Right.
But I'm all out of stuff to say on this subject. I don't know if you've got anything else to say.
Just that try not to be if you don't like the direction the new Resident Evil movie is going, try not to be about it on opening weekend.
Well, somebody's going to anyway.
Yeah, because it's their entire personality to bitch, and if you're one of those kinds of people, sincerely, fuck you.
All right.
Hang on, someone's knocking at my door. Wait, where'd you get that gun? That was a joke.
I assume so.
All right, I just got to the Plant 42 boss fight, and I am exactly 2 hours and 28 minutes in.
Damn.
I have to go back if I take another hit like that. Stop slapping me, asshole.
That's what she said. So,
You shut up. Open your mouth. Just open your mouth and smile pretty. And I can't parry those fuck. Actually, maybe I can. Holy shit! By the way, if you parry at the right tongue, it literally cuts its tongue off, and that's an achievement you can get.
oh, nice.
And I just finished killing it. Infinite Requiem does wonders. I am now at the art facility.
Well,
I might actually complete it in
well,
less than 4 hours.
well, Kason has got his hands full. I pretty much have said all I need to say on this subject. And there's a siren outside my apartment. Oh, no, hold up. I think it's fading off. Alright.
But hope you enjoyed our movie discussion. But next week it's back to our reaction extravaganza.
Yep. And hopefully I will be able to do 2 streams next week, but we'll just have to kind of see what happens. I hope you guys enjoy.
Also, I don't care what people say. That is hunky fight in Requiem.
Most definitely. There, without question. But with all that out of the way, I hope you all enjoyed listening to us talk about this subject. I hope you all enjoyed listening to me completely rant and just be a loud asshole like I always am.
Really? I just say you're an asshole.
I mean, that's true too.
How the fuck do you survive a point-blank buckshot to the face?
I mean, how do you parry an RPG rocket which you can do during the final boss fight?
Do shit.
Yeah, you can parry when Victor fires an RPG at you. I've actually seen videos of people parrying the RPG.
Leon is just fucking invincible at this point.
He might be living tissue over a metal endoskeleton.
I didn't know Skynet collaborated with the RPD. Hey, we have this problem with Spencer. You gonna help us? Say no more, fam.
That makes you really wonder how he could be dying from Raccoon City syndrome if he is in fact a Terminator.
I also killed 3 zombies with 1 Requiem shot yesterday.
Woof.
It's actually an achievement.
Oh, cool.
Also, you ever notice how the Lickers in Requiem look more like their original counterparts, apart from the redesign in Resident Evil 2 Remake?
I never thought about that, actually.
Like they're more perfectly completed, apart from the rash mutations of the original Resident Evil 2.
I cannot believe how expensive those things are. Like
what the actual hell, bro?
Like, there are files you can find in Requiem that tell you how expensive some of those bioweapons are. Some of those BOWs are. Dude, a single liquor sets you back $14 million. And a single tyrant sets you back $120 million. There are entire countries that have a gross domestic product smaller than that.
It's definitely a big holy shitter.
Yeah. It's like no wonder Umbrella went.
Where they went fucking bankrupt.
Yeah, it's no wonder they had to file for Chapter 11 after all their stock prices crashed. It's like you're blowing it all on fucking killer monsters.
Now I'm fighting Hunk. Doing this RE4 crap style, bitch. Fuck it, I'm pulling out the shotgun.
Yeah.
Apparently, if you hit him enough with the shotgun and you just initiate a parry, it automatically kills him.
Huh. I'm surprised it's not
Again,
like.
how do you survive? You missed me, bitch. But anyways,
I'm surprised it wouldn't be like Krauser, where you actually do more damage using the knife than you do using any of the guns.
alright, so I'm at the original version of Resident Evil 4 or the remake.
Yeah, the OG version. Because I just up and did Krauser with the knife, and I never realized how little effort it takes to kill him if you only use the
I'm pretty
knife.
sure I used, in my playthrough of the original Resident Evil 4, I'm pretty sure I mostly used a knife during the boss fight.
So this has gone on for long enough.
Yep. Hope
As
y'all
I was-
enjoyed, and we got some fails for you next week.
Yeah, we got some fails. We have an update on the Johnny Salami situation. If I haven't already
Ooh.
reacted to it on stream, I don't know if I have. And more tards being tarded. It's a real dunsocalypse.
And probably more Wesker and friends.
So, well, once I have a day figured out, it probably won't be Thursday, but once I do have a day figured out for the next solo react stream, I will be sure to let you guys know. I am almost done with my current playthrough that I'm working on. I said I was bit by the Resident Evil bug earlier. I'm not going to say which one it is, but I will say it's one that has two playable characters with their own unique paths, and I'm going to mash them into one video like I did for the Alone in the Dark of the New Nightmare playthrough.
Can you at least tell us the platform?
PS1.
Alright.
So that
That's
narrows it down a little bit.
Do you have any idea how little that narrows it down?
But I hope you guys enjoyed listening to us discuss this, listening to me tard raging about Paul W.S. Anderson and George A. Romero. And if you live in the Midwestern states or in the Plains states that are impacted by the current weather pattern we have at the moment in the U.S., I hope y'all stay safe, because apparently spring has wasted no time being an asshole this year. And
Really did not.
And
Sorry, I was whispering to my dog not to mess with it because he was going after the cord on my controller.
we will catch you all later.